We are counting down the 7 Canadian butter brands you need to avoid, exposing everything from bargain bin blocks filled with water to premium labels masking a hidden palm oil scandal. Some of these butters cost double, yet fail the spread and melt test miserably, and others use clever marketing and loopholes to hide what is really inside. Which brands are quietly giving you subpar butter? And who tops the list for the ultimate consumer betrayal? Let's begin with number 7. No name. Regular butter sits on the bottom shelf for a reason. Crack open a block and the first warning sign is the color, a pale, almost chalky white that screams cheap feed and low beta-carotene. Try slicing it cold and the texture turns to crumbs under the knife, not the smooth, creamy slab you expect. Toss a chunk into a hot pan and instead of melting clean, it sizzles and pops. That is proof you are paying for water, not fat. These budget butters routinely hover just below the 16% legal moisture limit, padding weight with water instead of quality. For anyone thinking they are saving money, the truth is you are buying a block engineered for cost, not taste. Lactantia Original Unsalted Butter holds a familiar spot in Canadian fridges, promising old-fashioned quality, but delivering something very different. This is not a niche product. It is a mass-market block shipped coast to coast, made from cream pooled from hundreds of farms. That means any flaw in the milk supply, like the widespread use of palm-derived feed supplements, spreads through every stick. In February 2021, Calgary food writer Julie Van Roosendaal posted a single tweet about butter refusing to soften on the counter. Within 48 hours, thousands of Canadians posted their own stories. Toast torn to shreds, cookies that would not cream, butter that felt eerily waxy and smelled flat instead of grassy. The scale of the complaints pointed straight at the big dairy coops. When up to 1/3 of Canadian farmers were adding palm supplements to boost fat yields, the end result was not just harder butter. It was a nationwide shift in texture and taste, hidden behind a mid-range price tag that promised more than it delivered. Salted butter is supposed to add a little flavor, not cover up what is missing. Beatrice. Salted butter leans hard on its salt content, not just for taste, but to hide deeper flaws in the butter itself. Salt has a well-documented effect in sensory science. It dulls off flavors and masks the flat, almost cardboard notes that show up when the butter fat is not up to scratch. In blind taste tests, salted versions routinely score higher than their unsalted twins, not because the base cream is better, but because salt tricks the palate. The real giveaway comes after it melts. A greasy film lingers on the tongue instead of disappearing cleanly. That is a sign of fat composition problems, not quality. For anyone comparing at home, try the unsalted version side by side. The difference is clear. The salted block feels heavy, overbearing, and leaves your mouth coated. It is not just about salt, it is about hiding what the butter cannot deliver on its own. President's Choice. European-style 84% butter sits on the shelf with a glossy label and a price tag to match, often 20% higher than the regular block right beside it. The promise is clear: more fat, richer taste, a taste of European luxury. But the truth is that fat percentage is a numbers game. Canadian processors hit 84% by churning out more water, not by changing what cows eat or how they are raised. The cream comes from the same industrial milk pool as ordinary butter, with no guarantee of grass or pasture, just a tweak in the machinery. That means the same issues that plague standard butters, like palm-derived feed supplements, still lurk inside, no matter how high the fat climbs. The result is, even at a premium, this butter can stay stubbornly hard, failing the spread test on toast just like its cheaper cousins. Paying more for a label that shouts European style does not buy you better butter, just less water and a bigger bill. Organic Meadow unsalted butter carries a pricey price tag that makes shoppers pause. It is often double what standard blocks cost. The promise is purity, certified organic, pasture-raised, a return to the basics. But the fine print on Canada's organic standards leaves more room for disappointment than most realize. Organic certification demands feed grown without synthetic chemicals, but it does not guarantee a life of fresh grass or sunshine for every cow. During the off-season, or when pastures run thin, organic dairies can supplement with organic approved feeds, sometimes shipped from thousands of kilometers away. The rules ban synthetic additives, but as long as the supplement is certified organic, it is fair game. That could mean organic soy, flax, or even imported palm-based energy blends if they meet the paperwork. For the shopper hunting for real, grass-fed flavor, paying a premium does not always buy a softer, richer butter. The cold stick test exposes the truth. Slice through a block straight from the fridge. If it fractures like chalk or shatters at the edges, the butter's structure is off. Too much water, not enough genuine milk fat. Grass-fed butter yields cleanly, even when cold. For a product that commands top dollar, anything less is a letdown. Dairyland whipped butter spread doesn't just stretch the truth, it stretches your wallet. Whipped butter is sold in tubs that look generous, but up to 30% of that volume is nothing but AIR. The trick is simple. Take the same industrial butter, churn in extra air under pressure, and call it a spread. The label might boast easy spreadability, but what you are really buying is less butter fat per gram than any other product in the dairy aisle. Do the math. Divide the price by the actual grams of fat. Whipped butter routinely costs 20 to 40% more per usable gram than regular blocks, sometimes topping even the fanciest imports. This isn't just about price. The forced aeration is a smokescreen, disguising the hard palm-fed origins of the base butter. Instead of fixing the real problem, solid, unspreadable fat, processors whip in air to fake softness, masking the stubborn texture that started the whole Buttergate scandal. The result is a product that feels light and easy at first, but melts poorly and leaves you with less value in every spoonful. For shoppers hoping to save or get a better spread, whipped butter is the worst deal in the case, a masterclass in selling air at the price of gold. The economics are clear, you are paying premium for processing tricks and clever packaging, not for real, quality butterfat. Natrel's grass-fed butter sits at the very top of the dairy aisle, premium price, promises of purity, and a label that suggests cows grazing freely on open pastures. But in Canada, that claim is built on sand. There is no single national standard for what grass-fed means on butter. The rules are so loose that a farm can slap the label on the package if their cows have only access to pasture for a few months a year. The rest of the time, those same cows might be eating feed blends that include palm-derived supplements, the very practice at the heart of Buttergate. Unlike countries like New Zealand, where 100% grass-fed is strictly regulated and verified, Canadian law leaves the details up to producers. The result is a grass-fed label that can mean anything from cows grazing all summer to a herd that spends most of its life indoors, eating whatever keeps the milk flowing. There is no requirement for third-party audits, no government seal, and no penalty for stretching the truth. For shoppers, that means paying the highest shelf price, sometimes $8 or more for a single block, without any guarantee that the butter inside is truly grass-fed, or even free from palm-based feed. The betrayal stings twice. First, you are paying a premium for a promise that is not enforced. Second, the very thing you are trying to avoid, hard, waxy butter that refuses to melt, can still show up in these grass-fed blocks, because the feed loophole remains wide open. If the butter is pale white in the middle of summer, or if it stays stiff on the counter, those are red flags. The only way to know for sure is to look for independent seals like 100% grass-fed verified or certifications from trusted third parties. Otherwise, that green pasture on the box is just a picture, not a promise. For a product that commands the highest trust and the highest price, Natrel's grass-fed butter delivers the biggest letdown in the Canadian dairy case. Across all 7 entries, one truth emerges. In Canada's butter aisle, labels and price tags offer no guarantee of real quality. Industrial shortcuts, hidden in feed, not factories, shape what ends up on your toast. That pattern reveals even the simplest foods demand real scrutiny. Thanks for watching.